Hi, everybody. Good evening. We're gonna take a moment to start our event right now. Okay. So, hi, everyone. For all of you who don't know, my name is Natalia. I'm one of the co-presidents for Fashion at Brown, and I wanted to cordially thank you all for making your way over here this evening. We have a really exciting speaker who is gonna get down and dirty about the realities of the fashion industry, how he produces such incredible, inspiring, and groundbreaking work. This speaker is Kamyiis Mclean, and he is originally from Jamaica, but is now based in New York City. And our lovely moderator tonight will be Madison McTaggart. She is one of the directors of the photography team here at Fashion at Brown, who has also been doing beautiful, stunning work, one of the pillars of our best projects this year, along with our previous moderator, Rosella, yesterday. So truly doing amazing work for our, and there is no one else who I could imagine moderating for Kamyiis. I think it will be a joy to watch, and I welcome you to a conversation with Kamyiis Mclean and Madison McTaggart.
Hello. How are you doing
Hello, good night,
tonight?
everybody. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for our conversation.
Definitely I am as well.
Hey,
How's everybody doing tonight? Great, nice.
love to hear it. So tell me a bit more about your story, what it's like growing up in Jamaica, moving to New York, and getting into photography, getting into fashion. What was your journey like? Tell us more about yourself.
Okay, well, my name is actually Kamyiis Mclean. I'm originally from Jamaica, and I moved here to like pursue fashion photography because in Jamaica, like fashion is not a thing in Jamaica. So I was like, from I was a little bit at the tender age, like I used to love fashion, used to love dressing up and all that, used to love the camera, and just used to love like photography overall. So I decided to move here back in 2016 to pursue my career in fashion photography, and that's like how I got started, which I actually got started in Jamaica when I got my first job at the age of 17 at a resort. And like I really didn't like that job, so like I would definitely waste my time in the bathroom and sleep every day. But like I knew like I always wanted to shoot fashion because it was something that I was fascinated with. And then like I just moved here and it was like boom, like I just started like start that career for me, and it's like going good right now.
Yeah, what is it like to like make that jump in terms of like moment of deciding like this is what I want to do and really committing yourself to it? Like how did that feel?
Yeah, it actually feels great knowing that when you actually have a gift inside of you and you know that, okay, this is your calling, this is what you're supposed to be doing, you go after it and not just wasting your time on something that you know is not going to take you where you want to go. Because, like, if I was, like, stuck back in Jamaica and just doing something regular, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So I'm definitely grateful for, like, taking that move and take that step. Because in life overall, you have to take a step out of your comfort zone to go actually where you want to go. Because like if you should stay back at your hometown or stay in your mom's house or your dad's house, you're not gonna make a move. Like you want to be a fashion photographer. Sorry, you got to go where the fashion is, and that's how you start your and you develop where you want to go. So that's how like I try to get into it.
Yeah, and you're like starting off your career in a time like practically like not necessarily now, but really close to what the modern industry is looking like. I know a lot of photographers have different experiences starting off at different times, but you're starting off with like social media and having like a digital world. What is it like to like have your first projects and being able to share them on the internet with people and really getting to like make sure that you're showcasing something that's like that you hold true to yourself and everyone around you? What is it like kind of being able to share that with people?
Okay, so I'm always excited to like share my projects with people, especially stuff that I visualize in my mind. I'm just always excited to like share that to the world and also share that to the people around me because like photography is all about telling stories. And once you have that story in your mind, it's not just for it to be in your mind, but also for it to like put out there so the world could see it. And also, creating my photography, my projects, and like putting it on the internet for it to be seen. It's a good thing, and it's also a good thing for you because that's how you get developed. That's how you get seen by other people, and that's how you push yourself out there more into the industry. You might not know that you're pushing yourself out there, but you're pushing yourself out there. As long as you put the work out there, you're actually saying, okay, this is the direction I want to go, and this is like the industry that I want to go in, and this is how I'm like open to be seen. And in photography and also overall in fashion, it just takes one person to see your work. And once that one person see your work, boom, you're good to go. So like, if you have that story, if you have that vision that you want to put out there, put it out there, and just like don't sit on it, but just like create and just like let it happen, you know?
For sure. And speaking about being seen, the image above, which is stunning, by the way, I always love looking at it. This was like featured in Photo Vogue. Do you want to speak more about that and what your
Yeah,
experience has been like
this
on that
photo was
platform?
actually for Blank magazine that I've shot, and this photo was just like it's all come back around to story. I just wanted it to be playful. She's like a grown model, but I just wanted to be playful. So, you know, like when you're a kid and you're playing with a balloon, like everything in photography is a story. You might not know that it's a story, but it's a story. You might not see it behind with your own eyes, but somebody else is seeing it. And I just wanted this image to be like playful, just like her holding the balloon. She's not looking too posy. She's not posing at all. She's just like blowing it, and you can actually see it as an image. It's like telling a story. If you could even look into her eyes is actually telling a story. The way how she holds the balloon and the way her body is like positioned in the photo. It's nothing planned. It's nothing posy, but just like being you. It's just being natural. Photography also is being natural. Not everything has to go as planned. Not everything has to be posy or well put together. You can just like take your camera up and just go out there and just like shoot whatever, and boom, your final product is what's gonna tell the story.
For sure. And do you think that like that natural attitude towards posing is something that you like to incorporate a lot with your models?
Yes, for sure. Normally, when my models are on set, I normally tell them that, okay, you don't have to be this posy. The less pose you do, like, the more the image look better. So, like, you don't have to be posy at all. You can just, like, be yourself, be natural, do what you want to do. Like, let it flow. Like, I love movements in my photos as well. So, I normally ask them, just, like, do some movement, just be regular, just be natural, and basically most of the best pictures are like off guard images. You get your best pictures off guard. So like I always tell them, okay, just be yourself, just flow with the vibe, move. You don't have to be like posy and all that because sometimes it can be very stiff in the photo, and you can literally look at a photo and tell when someone is trying too hard based on their position, their face, and how the photo is structured and their body movement in the photo. So you can just like make it very natural. You get your best photos when it's all natural. And do you, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I was actually wondering if you could maybe dive more into like your creative process. I know you do a lot of creating, directing for your shoots. So how do you kind of come up with a vision and then be like, this is what I'm thinking. How do I communicate that with people on set? How do you execute essentially?
Okay, so my creative process is like I visualize stuff that I see daily. I'm a very vintage guy. So I go back into the 90s, into the 80s, like even now into in our today's society, we're taking it back into the 80s, the way how we dress, the shoes we wear, the flame camera is coming back, the styles, the jacket, the skirts, like everything is just coming back into place. So I use that and I put it into my today's work to like give that, okay, I'm going back into the 90s as well. And like my creative process is like also seeing stuff like on Pinterest and like seeing like photos of like different people outside, how people dress, like, and just like going back into old magazines. Like old magazine is your best friend in photography. You don't want to be looking at like the Today magazine and be like, okay, let me just go into a Vogue and see what they're shooting today, because that's not going to like motivate you. Because the fashion industry is also going back into a space that we're going back into the years, like in the 90s, and we're bringing like everything back, the way how the models pose, the way how they style, they dress, the hairstyles, everything. So my creative process is like all about just like going back into that time, like even go on Pinterest, create your mood board, thrift stores I normally use to style my models. Most of my personal projects are like I go to the thrift stores and I pick some outfits out and I like let it work. Like it doesn't have to be point A. You know, you just want to ensure that okay, you have something to work with, and it's once it's like in alignment with your vision and what you're going for, then like go for it. Like it doesn't have to be all put together. Just go out there, pick an outfit, get your friend, do something cool, and just shoot. You never know like what the end result is gonna be like.
Yeah, I think that's really great. I know that a lot of people here in Providence, and especially at Brown and Rizzi, love going thrift shopping. So this is definitely a justified way to do that. And so I'm kind of wondering, like, you speak a lot about collaborating, personal projects, and starting out. What does that kind of look like, or what is some advice that you have for like young photographers looking to first do like these shoots for themselves before they're able to build like these professional links and bonds with other people in the industry, because that can be really hard. How do you kind of get like started? How did you start getting models in the beginning before reaching out to agencies, or how do you recommend reaching out to agencies? Like,
Okay, so in photography, networking is your best friend. Like, you have to network. You like, especially going to like fashion events, fashion shows. You know, some events that's gonna like have the same people who like is on the same path as you, as to where you want to go as well. So networking is your best friend, and it's also good to always reach out. If you come across somebody on Instagram that you see and that inspires you and that you think, okay, they will be fitting for like a project that I have in mind and I want to do, reach out to them. It doesn't hurt to like reach out saying, hey, I love your look. I would definitely love to work with you. I think you have what I'm looking for this project. I think you have what I'm looking for to like let this project come to life. Like, don't be scared of nothing. Like, if they say no, move on to the next. Like, don't be scared. Like, collaboration. Like, if you see another photographer that you think, okay, we can go probably on a Saturday, like, hey, on Maddie, we could like go shoot together one day and see. We can find a model here at Brown and we're gonna work on a project together. We're gonna do something. Just do it. Like collaboration, like networking is your best friend. You know, like meet people, go out there, pitch to them, send your emails, DM, go in the inbox, whatever you gotta do it because that's how you're gonna land the people you want to work with, especially like your models and like for even agency. I would say like for young photographers, agency can be like rough on like letting you shoot their models because like they're top models and that's why they have an agency. So for young photographers, I would definitely recommend you starting like your portfolio. Go out there, you shoot, like you find somebody. It doesn't have to be a top model. If you see the person has a look that's like very unique, very cute, you think they're cute, like just do it. You build your portfolio like that. Once you build your portfolio, you have something you can show to the agency that said, oh, hey, this is my work and this is my style. And if they think that the style and the work is good for them, they will definitely go ahead and say, okay, here's our model, Maddie. You can use her for the shoot. But if you're gonna like reach out to an agency without no work to show, they're not gonna use you. And that's how it is. You have to have something to prove that, hey, this is gonna bring the model into the next level. This is gonna help the model as well as much as it's helping you. So you can't just like go out there and like start reaching out. You have to start with yourself first. You'll build your portfolio. Your portfolio doesn't have to be 100% put together. You just build it. As long as they can see your photography style, that's all. Like you put it together. Hey, my name is Maddie. Like I'm a photographer. Like I would love to shoot with this model. I think she's beautiful for this project. And you like tell the project that you want to do and just explain your project to them. And also agency love when you explain everything to them because like if they feel like, okay, so they're gonna feel like it's a waste of time if the project is not gonna help the model as well or help the agency themselves. So you gotta put your project together. For example, okay, I wanna shoot a project about women's history month. It's women's history month. So I would definitely like to use my friend right here. She's a model. You put your project together. You tell how you're going to style your project. You tell like where the location is going to be at. And you just pitch it to them. And also with your portfolio. So if you have that together, I think you'll be good with like getting models from agencies as well.
yeah, thank you so much. I think it's really important to build a portfolio, and I know that can be really difficult. And so, looking at some of your work here, I was kind of wondering if you could share more about what it was like for you to build your portfolio and build your personal style, because the result is something incredible. Like, your style is so distinct, and so clear. It's communicated through all of your pieces of work. As you can see here, you work beautifully with different types of fabrics as well. Like when you're picking out models for shoots, like you have a lot of images with like different tulle dresses, which I thought was really cool. And so what kind of makes your style? How did you get to that process in terms of like your editing, color rendering, lighting, all these different things that every photographer is constantly thinking about?
Yeah, so in photography as well, it's gonna be a hard time finding your style, let's be honest. There's gonna be some time you're gonna feel like, okay, I don't feel like this is the good style for me, and I don't think people should see this. You see, once your style speak to you as the creator, that's your style. Once it starts with you and once you think, okay, this is the image. If you spend like 2 days on one image and you're just not coming up with no other style but the style that you edited from last night. That's your style. And I feel like once you start to nurture that style and start to like say, okay, this is the image, this is how I want my work to look like, and you put it out there, that's when it's gonna attract your clients because they see your style and they're gonna be like, okay, this is the style that we want to work with. So your style, like, it's not going to be easy finding it, I'm going to say, but once you start working on it, developing it, and like every day you go back to the picture, you just make some slight adjustment until it's like perfect, then yeah, you can go for that. Like my style, it wasn't easy finding my style either. Like I used to be on the bright side. My photo used to be so bright. Like it was just like, and I feel like it was just like in the same category as every other photographer. And as a photographer, you got to learn how to stand out from every other photographer because that's how you're gonna make your money and that's how you're gonna be booked by these big brands and these big clients. So you gotta learn how to stand out, make your work different, do something to your photo that's gonna look different, that's gonna be mind blowing, that's gonna make you like the number one in Providence, you know? Because like if me and Maddie have the same style of image and my three friends right here and like Gucci should reach out to us right now. Like none of us is trying to get the work because we all have the same style. And you're gonna understand that you working on your style is very important. And like my style, I started to come across my style when I did a photo and I started editing it, and then I made a mistake and I go dark on the photo, and I was like, wow, this photo actually looked great because it was telling me a story as well. And once the photo speaks to me, that's how I know that, okay, it's my style. And I let that photo sit right there and I start tweaking it every day. You don't have to, you're not going to find it overnight. You can make a little layer adjustment, and then each and every night you go back and see, okay, let me see if I could raise my temperature a little bit. Let me see if I could add like a little, contrast, a little, bring down the white balance a little bit, and just like bring down, play with the highlights until you find your style. I'm a very natural light shooter. Like studio photos, I feel like it's so boring. Like you standing behind a wall on a white background, boo, like I don't know how people do that. You want to take your photo outside, natural, like environment. This photo right here, I shot this in New York, Brooklyn, and this is giving me Africa right now. You see, once you go outside, you can definitely tell a different story by your surrounding. You can even use the space right now, and the way how you shot this space, you can never know that you were right here. It's the way how you shoot and the eye that you have, and the way that how you edited it. So yeah, that's how you like find your style and like come up with your styling and stuff like that. So it wasn't easy for me finding my style, but like as soon as I start putting myself to practice, then I just start finding it, and I was like, okay, boom, this is it. And once I put it out there, I realized people start gravitating to it, and I realized I was getting booked from it, and I realized like the top of the toppest, like the editors was going for it. I was like, okay, this is it, this is this, like, so I stick to it. And I keep on like improving it every day, and it's just consistent in my photo right now, and it's telling a story throughout all my page and my photos. So I just remain consistent to it. Remain consistent to your style, guys. If you think it's your style, stay to it. Don't change it. Just keep like practicing it on it, and like just let it improve, and it will improve over time.
For sure. And moving beyond technique, I kind of wanted to ask more about like themes that you see coming up for you and how you view fashion and beauty. I know that celebrating Black beauty is something that's really important to you. And so how do you honor and center Blackness and its representation in your work?
Yeah, so I celebrate Black identity a lot throughout my work. Like growing up in Jamaica, I used to like on magazines, I used to just see like just one color on a magazine. I was like, okay, then what happened to like the black girls, the black queen, the melanins? Like, what's going on? And from at a tender age back in Jamaica, I wanted it to be my focus, right? I wanted it to be my focus. I think that I had what it takes to like capture black women, capture black people, people of color in the way that they need to be seen that they have never captured before, you know. And me representing like black identity come with a lot of struggles because when I just started, like especially like submitted to magazine, I used to get denied a lot. Like they used to say no to my photos. Why? Because my models were black and because I celebrate black identity a lot, and that gives me the courage to push and to I like celebrate it more in my photo. And like I'm saying, okay, if they don't want to do it, then this is one guy's gonna do it. And then because I think representation is important on every side of the spectrum, and I think celebrating black identity, people of color, no matter like who you are, the color of your skin, your race, it should be celebrated, and that diversity is very important. So throughout my work, I just always wanted to like celebrate black identity, give my models the platform, give people of color the platform to tell their story through their skin. Like even in today's like society, on the runways, you don't see like it's kind of changing right now, but like back then it was just used to be like strict race, like a certain color on the runway, and like I just wanted to like ensure, okay, I'm highlighting my culture, my roots, my skin, my black, my voice, like, and I needed my voice to be heard, and the only way I could do that was tell it through my images, where I identify black identity in my photos, and that's how like I celebrate it throughout my work.
Definitely, and that celebration doesn't just end in terms of creating beautiful imagery that's representational. It also means community forming and building links and working with black models who also have their own struggles to navigate through the modeling industry. And so I was kind of wondering if you can kind of share like how celebrating blackness in your work has led to you to create a more expansive community, an inclusive community, and an uplifting community.
Yeah, so celebrating black models and identity in my work has like bring me through put me to a certain level. Like I've been discovered by the great Naomi Campbell, I've been discovered by Vogue, I've been discovered by Essence and like all of these things. You see, as I go back to what I said previously, once it comes to your story doesn't have to be like mine. Once you have a story that needs to be told, like you gotta put it out there and to be seen. So like I started like just celebrating like black identity, and my models respect me for that. People respect me for that because they see that it was an issue in the industry, and there wasn't a lot of photographers doing what I'm doing. So that was kind of set me aside and like put me out there to be like, okay, this is a photographer that's celebrating this, and this is a photographer that's celebrating identity and like celebrating black voices and people of color, and that's how I wanted it to be. So it kind of bring me closer to like the top of the toughest people because they see my work and they were like moved by it, and they were like moved by the story that I tell throughout my work and just the consistency in my work. Like it comes in photography, consistency is a key. And once they can see you're consistent, your editing is consistent, your story is consistent, where you're trying to go in your photography is consistent, then yeah, you can definitely be developed one day by these bigger heads in the fashion industry.
For sure. And in terms of like sharing stories and sharing narrative in photography, I believe this image was reposted by ID magazine, right? I was
Yes.
wondering if you can kind of share a bit about that and what that moment looked like for you.
Okay, so this photo, I took this photo, and this is the trick too. Where do you think like what's this vibe giving you? You think it was like in Africa or somewhere, right? Based on the image. This photo was shot in New York. And I told a story because it was a pandemic, and like I share a story talking about vendors, young vendors in Harlem, New York, telling how the pandemic affect the vendors in New York, and like I shot this photo with a model, like looking like he's selling something and stuff like that, and that's how I wanted the image to be. So I like actually shot it, telling a story, and like ID picked it up. I actually like ID picked it up, and like it was like going viral, and like they put it on their page because they see it was something different. Like it's not I'm in New York, but it's not New York. It was given something out of town, and this is a next key too. You see, here in America overall, like everybody is doing the same thing. Photography is doing the same thing. if you want to like, it's okay to go back to your roots, go back to where you're from, and shoot like that, like tell stories from where you're from, because that's how it's gonna like give you a push, a head start. Because like the industry right now is going based off stories. Like the picture doesn't have to be perfect. Once you have a photo in the like a story in the photo, like you're good to go, because like they love stories, especially like Italian Vogue. They like pick you up in a quick of a second if you like tell stories through your images. And like always ensure that you're telling a story through your images, no matter where or what you're shooting. Tell a story. You can come from Cincinnati, tell how it used to be rough out there for you, how you moved to Providence Historic College, and create a story in a photo like that, you know? So yeah, that's how I like created that photo.
Amazing. I'm kind of interested in hearing more about like these different stories. And so what is one like series or a body of work or several images that you really fell in love with the story and that you return to time and time again when you look at your work?
Okay, so I shot this girl in 2020. Like that photo went viral, like super viral on the internet. She was in an orange tulle dress, and she was just like laughing through the image, and it went crazy. And like I always go back to that photo to encourage me as well. And I also like took a photo during the Black Lives Matter movement, like holding the fist. I'm not sure if like you guys have it. You could like show it if you
We
do.
do.
But yeah, that photo went viral crazy as well on the internet. And like I look at those photos, and anytime I feel discouraged, I'd be like, okay, if I did this, like I could do it again. It's like something that I could do. Like those photos encourage me, especially photos that have meaning, photos that was shot in a time where super craziness was going on. I could definitely go back to those photos and say, okay, this is a photo that was definitely needed in this time. And this photo, I started from this photo. This photo got me to where I am today. And every time I feel like I want to give up in photography, I just go back to those photos and say, okay, listen, this photo got you where you are today. So be encouraged. So if you think about selling your camera or doing stupid stuff, you better not, because like remember this photo. And like even the photo with the basket on the head with the girl in the black tulle dress, I love that photo as well. I love a lot of my photos that I shoot, to be honest. I don't have a favorite. I just like every one of them, each to his own, has their own different story. And like, yeah, they just work based off that.
Amazing. I'm going to ask a question that I think everyone doesn't like answering, but how do you think the pandemic like changed your approach to photography? I know it's really hard to shoot, at least in New York, during a certain time. Do you think that like you honed in more on like your editing, or did it make you like fall in love with shooting again and think I need to be taking pictures? Like once I can go outside again, I need to be outside taking pictures.
Well, the pandemic has like put me like far. Like I got seen a lot, especially like my when I told you magazines picked my photo up. New York Magazine, like all those other magazines, my photo was like all over, because like I went out there and I shot the protest. So like my photos started going crazy. I gained like thousands of followers during that time, and at that time, like they were just like so eager to give black people jobs, because like especially in the fashion industry, because back then you couldn't get like nothing to shoot. It was like hard for you to even shoot a cover of a magazine if you were a person of color. And by the time the pandemic hit, they feel like, okay, it's a good opportunity to give them this opportunity, because this is what's happening and they're affected by it. So let's put them out there. But like I got seen a lot during the pandemic. I got a lot of jobs. I got like experiences. My photos are like I've been picked up by different magazines. It was all over the internet. So like it kind of gave me like a boost in my career, to be honest. Yeah, and I'm like especially grateful for that as well.
Yeah, for sure. How do you feel like that momentum is keeping up like today? Because having those like great opportunities to create those projects, like having that body of work and really building to your portfolio, how is that impacting like the work that you're doing today, and who's like reaching out to you?
Well, it's probably not going to be impacting the same way how it did in 2020, because okay, everything is back to normal. So bye bye. So like that's how, like, for real, that's the industry. Like they can eat you up and spit you out. So like okay, Everything is done now. There's gonna still be brands out there that's reaching out to you, and there's some connection that I've met, and there's like people still like see my work because like I have like the biggest of the biggest following me now, like through my work. So I still have people behind me. I still have the brands behind me, and I'm still booking jobs. Probably not as much as how it was in 2020, but I feel like there's still some like there's still people out there kind of like booking me and like giving me the jobs, and I'm still being seen like every day, every month, every year is something new. So yeah, just keep on putting the work on there. Once you're on the radar, like that give you the opportunity, you gotta stay on the radar. You can't like drop them back like that. Like no, you gotta keep it up there. Once you got seen on the high, like you got seen because the photo went viral. You can't just say, okay, my photo went viral. I can relax now. I don't have to create anymore. No, you gotta keep on that same level, and you gotta keep on going up, going up, going up until like you make your name out there and like everybody know about you. So like that's me right there now.
Yeah, you never get a moment's rest. You always got to be
You gotta
out
keep
there.
working because a lot of people think that okay, since okay this happened for me, so I could relax. I booked this job, I got seen, this photo went viral, so my TikTok video went viral, my TikTok photo went viral, so I could just relax right now. No, you gotta keep working. Like people like to see stuff new stuff. So you got to keep on working. Got to keep on working to attract more people to your stuff. Like the algorithm builds every day. People's gonna see your work, and you might think that people's not seeing. People sees your work, so you just got to keep on like building and like putting the work out there.
For sure. I'm kind of curious as to what it's like being on that radar. What is it like collaborating with magazines or having your work published? What is it like for you in terms of having that work being exposed? Like, it could be also about logistics in terms of like copywriting images and things like that. But what is it like to enter that aspect of photography and have that be a new level to your work?
Yeah, it's a good feeling. Like anybody like would feel good to have like a magazine, especially a magazine of your dream. Like somebody who you think, okay, you feel like your work wasn't good enough to be published in this magazine, and now they want to pick up your photo. But it's a good feeling because like once your photo is in a magazine, like it leads to being in other magazines. So like other magazine pick it up. That's what with press as well. Once you get a press pick it up, and other press publication pick it up. So like collaborating with magazine, it's a good feeling because you're getting your work out there. Because like remember when you're just starting photography, you feel like you're not being seen, and nobody think like your work is worthy to be out there. But at that time, like your photos start getting published with like magazines and stuff like that. It's a good feeling, and like it's a good feeling that you're gonna feel as well. But as your photo published, like never you stop right there. Like even pitch, even if magazine don't reach out to you, you pitch to magazines. Like you pitch to them, you send them an email saying, "Hey, I have this. I want to pitch the story to you." And like anybody photo can be in a magazine. Like your photo don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a professional photographer to be in a magazine. Magazine is like picking up any stories. Like stories is what run a magazine. It doesn't matter if it's like copy or print or digital. Like once you have a good photo or good story, like you can just like make a pitch and be like, hey, like don't be scared to like pitch a magazine that you feel like you want to be in. You send that email. Don't let nothing hold you back. Send that email. You pitch yourself. You pitch the project, and definitely you can like have yourself in a magazine. It doesn't have to be a top magazine. Like it doesn't have to be Vogue. It doesn't have to be ID. It doesn't have to be Essence. It can like people even the biggest photographers now start from the lowest magazines. A magazine is a magazine, and you're gonna be surprised by the people who buy these magazines, and it's always be the bigger editors buying these magazines. Like people like was big in the industry who buy the small magazines. So like even if like a magazine reach out to you and the magazine is not like that big, you can still work with them because at the end of the day your work is getting seen. And once your work is getting seen, you're putting yourself into alignment to get bigger jobs from bigger editors and from bigger publications.
For sure. And I know that being seen is also like a very difficult thing. The fashion industry is notoriously known for being hard to pierce through. And so I was wondering if you could share some like moments that you've had or any advice to to people here in terms of what it's like to start navigating through that landscape, because it's a very difficult industry to be in.
Yeah, the fashion industry is like very hard. Like I'm not gonna come here and tell you that okay, it's an easy industry for you to get into. It's like it's a very hard industry. And the fashion industry is also like a gatekeeping industry. So if you don't know people who is already inside of it, it's gonna be hard for you to get in it. You gotta work your ass off to like definitely have one tiptoe in that industry. And like I feel like it's kind of changing in a little bit based off like talents and like you getting this like even Instagram is a good platform to even be seen. So as a photographer, I'm telling you from tonight, if you have work that you've been sitting on, or if you have photos that you've been holding back for a long while, you better start posting. Because like this year, I feel like it's a good year for you to be seen, and that work you have been holding back probably is gonna be the work that's gonna bring you out there and get you to be seen by who needs to see your work. So like getting like seen in the fashion industry is gonna be hard starting off. I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be hard. But as long as you remain consistent, don't let nothing discourage you. Don't let nothing whatsoever discourage you. Be consistent. Keep on shooting. Keep on putting out the work. Because one day somebody out there is gonna see your work, and that person is gonna take you to the next level and put you to the next level that you need to go. Also, you never know who is who in this industry. You might see somebody come up to you and they look so like they're not dressed up, nothing. They just like look okay, regular. They could be the editor for like a big magazine, Teen Vogue. Like that's how don't let people fool you. Always be nice to people, guys. Like me, especially I get tricked sometimes because I be going to these events and I feel like, okay, this person look like she's not even in the industry. And to be surprised, these people be working behind the scenes of these big publication and these big magazines. So always be nice to people and always network yourself with people. Don't be standoffish because that can take you to the next level. Even when like I got like featured with Huffpost. I'm not sure if we were gonna touch that topic, but I got featured with Huffpost as a groundbreaking artist. Why? Because like I was at an event and this random girl just come up to me. She was looking regular. She was like, "Hi, what's your name?" And I was like, "My name is Kamyiis." And she was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I was like, "I'm a photographer." And she was like, "Great, can I see your work?" And I said, "Yeah." And she was like, "Wow, fabulous. Guess what? I want to feature you in Huffpost. We're doing an event next week, and we want to print your photo and we're gonna put you up, and like anybody can come in." And like when I said what, like she was like, "Yeah, we're gonna feature you. We're gonna write a whole article about you." And like that was BuzzFeed and Huffpost event. Vice was there. Everybody was there. So that brings you back. Network. You never know who is who. Be nice to people. Talk to people. Tell people what you do. You know, surround yourself. Go to these events because like there's gonna be someone one day who's gonna take you to that next level. You gotta be prepared for that. So put that work out there. If you're not putting it out there, start shooting. Start putting your work out there because one day you're gonna be seen and you're gonna be surprised by the fact how it happened of a snap of the finger. Remember, Kamyiis told you this tonight. You're gonna be seen and you're gonna be blowing up like crazy. You're gonna be in the magazine. And when I skip that page, it's gonna be your photo. So start from tonight, start from next following week, start shooting, put yourself out there. If you need to be seen, you're gonna be seen. And that's that.
For sure. And speaking about being seen, we're returning to this picture, which I think you mentioned. But this picture was then reposted also by BET and Complex, which is incredible. It's also such a strong image in terms of storytelling. So I know you spoke a little bit about this image earlier, but now that we have it in front of us, is there anything else that you would like to add?
This photo was power to the people. Like this is to all my friends right here. You'll be probably thinking like, okay, they're models. They're not models. They're regular people. But the way how I capture this image, it makes it look like okay, it's giving model vibes and it's giving a couple. They're not even together. But
They're delivering.
Yeah.
They follow through on the assignment.
So I was in Harlem one day. I was like, just stand right here and put your fists up. And we're gonna say like power to the people. And this photo was like a Black History photo that I took. It wasn't like the pandemic. It wasn't Black Lives Matters yet. It was a Black History project that I did.
Yeah.
And then it came in so handy and it came in so great and like during the Black Lives Matter movement and I posted it and it went all over viral like Complex BET like every other publication you could think of. Lil Baby used this photo in his music video. Like everybody, I was like, wow, that's what I'm saying. You never know when it's your time. put the work out there. Like you can be seen like in a snap of a finger. Instagram is a place like I'm sure like some random photo come up in your discovery page sometimes, right? Like you're ready to put somebody name in the search bar and boom, it's a photo and that photo grabs your attention and you look at your photo, boom, you just discovered somebody right there. That's how you get discovered on Instagram, guys. I'm telling you, post the work, put the work out there. Like definitely put the work out there.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful image, and especially you were saying that stories are so strong. It is such a timeless image. It could like not just the styling, but I just want to point out the specific effortlessness of the storytelling that you convey. And how do you think you want to bring that forward in the future, like for your future projects, really keep that storytelling going?
Yeah, definitely. Storytelling is always the main thing in my photos. Like I'm not a writer, but like I can tell story through photos. Like that's another topic too. Like you don't have to be a writer to tell story through images. That's not your work. You tell your story through your work, through your photo, behind the lens. Your eyes is the story. Your photo is the story. Let the writer pick it up and write the story on how you want the story to navigate. Like you don't have to worry about putting a pen to a paper and telling what the image is all about. Because a lot of photographers also struggle with that. They feel like, okay, in order to be in a magazine, you have to write a story and you have to write a whole description. No, like you can reach out to a writer, or if you have a writer friend who like is very interested in writing, you can say, hey, like what do you think about this photo? What do you see in this photo? Like what are you seeing that my eyes is not seeing? Because like people see different stuff in a photo, right? Like a photo can tell 1,000 stories, but like it's up to you, the creator. How do you want this photo? What's the story you want this photo to tell? So like basically in my work, I like will love to keep on the consistency with my editing, with the story that I tell, and not just shooting what everybody's shooting today, because that's boring. You got to take it back to the 2000. Let's go all the way back there, baby. Let's do some 2000 edits, like the flames. Let's bring all that back in. You know, those little Fuji camera. As you take the picture, boom, the photo is out. You got to take it back. You like, we got to snap it all the way back. Everybody's doing like two, want to be two put together today.
Yeah.
Want to have this one style. Want to have this one edit. That's boring. And publication is not going for that. No, they're not doing that. They want to see something different. Go to the beach one day. I don't care how cold it is. Go to the beach one day, take a photo, do something in the sand. And let me tell you a secret. The weirder your photo is, the best it is for you. Like publication love these weird photos. It doesn't have to be all like you like all posing and stuff like that. You can just like be sitting on the beach one day, just in a chair like that, your back facing the ocean, and you just like sitting like that. You know, that's itself is telling a story right there. So like just be different, you know? And like, yeah, I just would like to like keep on having this same consistency with my story, my edits, the clothes, that how I style my images and how I make it look. It probably not back in the days, but I want it to look like that. We're living in like a modern time now, but like you don't have to make it modern. We can definitely pitch it back into like in the 2000s. And like we just come up with some great stuff, some dope ideas.
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful, especially because time is always moving, and now with like trend cycles being so quick and so fast, everyone's always constantly demanding like images and visual imagery. With being a photographer, that can be like a lot of pressure in terms of always needing to create new output that is catering to these different trends. So how do you stay true to yourself and not necessarily cave into those pressures in terms of trying always a new style, new aesthetic? Like how do you make sure you get to stick to your style?
No, you stick to your style. Don't let nothing change your style. If that's what's making your money, never you change your style. That's your brand. That's your name. Gucci is not gonna be changing their red and green signal, right? Because that's their brand. And you can definitely spot their stuff because you see their logo on it. So never, your style is your logo. Like never you change your brand. That's how you got started. That's how you're gonna end stuff. Stick to your brand. Don't let nothing pressure you be like changing your style. No, stick to your style. Stick to the stories that you've been telling. Stick to the same image that was booking you, like put you out there, giving you jobs, get you seen. Like stick to it. Only thing you need to do with your style is tweak it a little bit. But never you will change your style. If you used to shoot in black and white and all of a sudden you want to start shooting in color, Like, don't do that. Just tweak it a little bit. Like, just put a little, okay, let me just bring back the vibrance and the saturation a little bit and see, but always have the same style. Always let your consistency show. I'm supposed to be able to spot your image and say, okay, that's Maddie photo right there. And I could like tell. People do that with my image, and I was like, how do you know it's my photo? They'd be like, cause I
we
know your
know.
style. Like we know how you edit. We know how you tell story through your image. So that's important. Stick to your style.
For sure. It's also a beautiful image. I love the Telfar bags, plural, heavy on the S. This is such a beautiful picture. And again, is this New York?
That's New York.
How do you like incorporating New York in ways in which like isn't the most obvious? I know a lot of people when they try and do like a New York shoot, it's like a yellow taxi. First of all, I don't think they're supposed to be yellow anymore. That's like an old taxi or skyscrapers. So how do you incorporate like setting and location into your work?
Yeah, as a photographer, scouting is very important. Scouting locations, you gotta go there and scout. You can't just get up and be like, okay, I'm gonna go shoot today and just like go shoot. Get up and scout. Scout for locations. Scout for locations that people never knew like is in New York. So you gotta go out there, you scout and like you look for locations, go in the weirdest place possible. Like this was like an abandoned like land. Like it was very bushy and like it was gated and I creeped my way under the gate to just shoot this image. You gotta be like, you gotta like hunger and thirst after the stuff you want because the end result is gonna be amazing. So you just gotta like hunger and thirst like after that. So like scouting for your location is always a number one key and always scout for location that you know like, okay, it's gonna match up to the photo and like is how like I want the photo to look. Like it doesn't have to be a modern location. Just go for like the old vintage stuff. Like even the old burned down house, like some house, like you can like take a photo in front of the house. The house doesn't have to be modern. The house can like look very vintage and edgy. Yeah, because your location gives like give the photo a story as well. Not just like how you shoot it and not just the style, but the location in the photo gives like the photo a boost and like tell a story in the photo as well.
For sure. And thank you, Kamyiis, for all the insights that you shared, sharing more about your story, your style, and so much advice that you gave to the audience. I was wondering if you had any other last bits of advice to give to people here or anything else that you'd like to share.
Sure. As I said before, guys, please, as young photographers, if you feel like you're not good enough for your work to be seen, that's a lie. Post your work. Post your work. Start working on your portfolio, okay? And post like just like don't listen to the outside voice and don't feel like okay you're not good enough because I know as a young photographer there's gonna be voices in your head telling you that okay my work is not good enough for me to it be seen as yet and sometimes there's a lot of us like be sitting on photos for 5 months which is already edited in our laptop in Lightroom sitting down and we just feel like it's not good enough to be posted. Post the work. That photo can get you into places, into publication. Have you been seen? Have you even start making money? Just go out there and start shooting. And also shoot, shoot, shoot. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you have to go to the vintage shop to get some looks, plan a shoot session with your friend, plan something great, like if you have a little stylist friend that you want to hit up, say, hey, babe, like I have a shoot and I want to shoot this Saturday. Let's do something. Just always keep on shooting, like always stay consistent. The more you stay consistent, the more you take it seriously and the more it's going to make you money. Once you put your work out there, start taking it serious, okay, guys? And that's my final tip to you guys.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I actually have two questions, more about the nuts and bolts side. How did you get your photography education, however you want to define that? How did you learn how to edit? Did you learn anything about fashion history in a class? Is that something you studied on your own? How did you learn how to read contracts? How did your kind of business side come about? And how did you start getting paid for your art? How do you run your life as a business, as an artist and a freelancer? What does that look like in practice?
That's a great question. I didn't go to school for photography. That was self-taught. Like, I used to watch YouTube videos back in Jamaica, and the way how I used to shoot, like I just play with the camera until like I just take it serious. It was like very self-taught. Like my editing, I didn't do nothing about Lightroom or Photoshop. First of all, I don't even use Photoshop for my work. no, that's too much. That's too much. All that retouching. No, buy to Photoshop. I stick to Lightroom because Lightroom is just like so easy for me and like so easy for everybody else too. So like I just like learn on YouTube. It's just like and already if you have a creative gift inside of you, you don't have to go to school for that. Like you already have it. So and for the business side, back in Jamaica, I started taking it serious when I shot my first wedding at the age of 17. Like yeah, I started making money and I got so excited about the money until I know like, okay, I could be making money off this. And then I started making a thing and I called my business Kamyiis Photography. I thought it was a joke for myself, but other people took me serious. Because I didn't take myself serious at that time, but people saw that I have the ability to do it. So I started taking it serious and I started making my tons of money and I just make it a lifestyle. Make it full-time creative now in New York. Yeah, being a photographer making money, guys. Start tonight.
Hi, it's been so lovely hearing you speak about your craft. I'm curious to know what has been the most important or kind of just, I guess you could say, like the piece of advice that stuck with you the most that anyone in the industry has given you in regards to your art. Like, what is one thing that you're like, this is what I take with me, this is the piece of advice that's really stuck out in my brain? What would you say that is?
Yeah, stay true to your craft. Like stay true to your craft. You're very creative. Stuff like that keeps you motivated. Especially hearing it from like bigger heads in the industry. You're very creative. I've never seen nothing like your work before. Your work speaks to me. Your work stands out to me. Stay true to your craft and like don't be like everybody else. Stuff like that keeps you motivated. Okay? So like stay true to your craft. Yeah, that's what I was like.
How do you incorporate clients' vision into your own creative practice, and how do you find the balance between like work and life?
Okay, so clients, I always know how like, because clients normally reach out to me to like put together their shoot for them because like they saw my work, and sometimes normally clients shoot a photographer and a creative director separately, but they choose me. They book me to be a creative director and a photographer because they need the direction that I have in my photo for them as well. And for my regular lifestyle, I know how to incorporate it because my regular lifestyle is like fashion too. Fashion events, going to these events. Like I'm always at a fashion events. Like that's my go-to event. So it's like still in the same mix. Like so, yeah. That's all I like incorporate it with my regular lifestyle. My regular lifestyle is like fashion parties and like all these networking events. So like I'm still like even when you go to these events, you're still working. Like you're still working, you're meeting people, and like you're getting to know other people, and you're getting to learn the industry as well as you go to these events. So if you know about any, even Fashion Week, take a trip to New York, go to Fashion Week. There's a tons of fashion shows out there, guys. Yeah, just go. You can even start shooting outside as a photographer. You shoot people outfit. Publication pick those story up as well. If you want to be seen the fastest, go to New York during Fashion Week and shoot outside and say, okay, these are some photos that I took during Fashion Week, and boom, you're gonna see a lot of publications pick your photos up.
I have one,
Okay.
but sorry, but it's for both of you actually. I wanted to know, like, what you guys are wearing tonight because I really love it. So
Oh yeah.
yes, and how did you choose your outfit for tonight?
Okay, so my outfit, like I'm a vintage store guy. I love a good thrifting. So I'm actually this outfit is like $12. You can even tell. No, even like no, you see in fashion, it's not what you wear, it's how you wear it and how you put it together. Let's not even talk about the shoes because that's like pricey. So like yeah, so this is like a $12 outfit. Yeah, guys, like put together, throw some clothes on, and wear that clothes. Don't let that clothes wear you. People think like, okay, it's a $1,200 outfit. You gotta make it look like that. Okay, even if it's like this skirt was like $4, and I was like, okay, I saw it and I like it, and this jacket was like $4 as well, and I was like, okay, let me just throw it out. It's a look. Like when you don't try too hard with fashion, that's how you come up with outfits. Like you just like throw it on, you just like rock it. Don't let it rock you. That's how you do it.
I know that you're saying, I know that you're saying that a lot of your work has been kind of recognized through Instagram and social media. Would you ever if you could, would you throw social media away and just make work without the social media?
No, you can never do that. That's how you get your money. That's how, like, even like the big publications right now, Vogue, Essence, everybody, they're getting models getting casted on Instagram right now. Because I don't know if you know Anak, that model that got casted at Homecoming. Like, she got casted like on Instagram, and there's a lot of people who got casted on Instagram. And Instagram is a good platform that your work to be seen the quickest and the fastest, especially when you tag brands that you want to work with. That's how you get discovered very fast. So always ensure that you're posting and you're staying consistent to your work.
Kind of a follow. Sorry, I feel like I'm like hoarding the mic, but kind of a follow up to that question. Do you view your work differently, like versus when you see it on social media or on an Instagram post, as opposed to when you see it printed and a large format? Do you think that you look at your work differently? Do you think you feel differently about it?
I feel so different. When I first saw my photo printed, I was like, wow, is that really my work? Because it speaks to you different than when you're behind your computer editing it. Because it just brings you to a realization that, okay, this is happening for real. And like, if my photo can be seen on a wall and people just walking by and looking at it, then this is something that should definitely encourage me to stay consistent to my work. And like, you as a photographer seeing your work as a print, that's something to be grateful for. Like, especially on a big print. Like, yup, that's something, it speaks to me, like, for real.
Hi, I have a question. Do you see a part of yourself, your self-identity being reflected in your work?
My self-identity, like being queer, being black, being from a culture, being my roots. I show a little bit of everything in my work. So me, I'm a black, celebrating black, like queer. I took queer photos as well. So like I feel like every bits and pieces of me, if I have the opportunity to showcase it in my work, I definitely do showcase it in my work as well.
I have another question. What was your first ever experience, your first like official commission or job, and what was the biggest takeaway you learned as a photographer working in the fashion industry?
Okay, so my biggest, like, you want to know my biggest money that I've ever made doing fashion, or
Or no, your first ever
my
job,
face. Okay.
and then your biggest lesson you've learned from that experience.
Okay, my first paid job was like back in Jamaica when I just started like doing weddings. Like, I used to make like some good money, but I don't enjoy doing weddings because weddings be difficult, like long, especially those wedding couples. I can't. I don't have time dealing with them. Like, they're the they're a pain, and like the biggest lessons like I always learn is always like to stick to what I love. Don't let because of money you want to go and shoot any and anything. It's okay to say no to some requests. I mean, as long as you put yourself to that place where you're making enough money that you can say no. But there's gonna be a point in the photography journey where you gotta turn some jobs down. It doesn't care about the money. It care about your mental as well. So sometimes there's gonna be some jobs that come to you that's gonna be stressful. But you always like you can. It's okay to turn jobs down. Like, if you know fashion is your thing, you shoot fashion. If you know you're not gonna be able to handle a 14-hour wedding like all I did and almost crashed, then, and I said to myself, I'm never gonna shoot a wedding again because it's just like, so it makes money. You make tons of money from wedding, but that aftermath that you have to deal with, I couldn't do it. So I just stayed true to like photography, fashion, and like I do portraits. I do everything, to be honest. Once you're a photographer, you should shoot everything. You're not supposed to be limited to one thing. So I shoot everything. As long as it's gonna make me that bread and butter, then I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Amazing, thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
What is one advice you would give yourself back then, knowing what you know now?
What advice I would give myself back then, knowing what I know now? Never give up. The journey may be a little discouraging, and sometimes in photography you're gonna have your slow moments. Sometimes you're gonna feel like, is this really for me? is this really what I want to do? Never give up. That's what I'm gonna say. Like, never give up. Because if I had given up, I wouldn't be here where I am today. So I would say never give up. Always encourage yourself to like stay on this path. Because at the end of the day, everything is gonna give like beauty for ashes. So like, just stay on your path. Yeah.
Are
Never
there
give up.
any like step backs that taught you a lot? Like that made you wanted to give up for once, but then like you realized something
Of
else?
course, me getting turned down by a magazine because I was like shooting by people. Of course, that would be a big discouragement for anybody in the industry. And I used to feel like the industry was like so unfair, which is like still unfair because I'm this talented photographer. I'm not being seen. My stuff is not being out there. I used to be turned down, and I used to shoot as crazy. Like I think I had what it takes, and like to hear that, of course, anybody would be disappointed and anybody would feel discouraged because they feel like they're not good enough to be seen and they're not good enough to be in a magazine and they're not good enough to like let their work be seen by others. So that would definitely discourage me from like, yeah, giving up. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
So, following up with what you just mentioned, in the moments where you felt discouraged, how did you proceed with faith in yourself and in your vision to be sure that this is a style you wanted to work with, no matter what other people thought about your style?
Yeah, so I stay motivated by just picking up my camera and going out there to shoot. Practice, like I go on Lightroom and I do like I have this one photo where I shoot with this maternity back in Jamaica. And like I had this edit on my photo like years ago and like since I came here, I re-edited that photo into the style I'm doing now. And I compare it to back then and now. And I was like, wow, that photo that I took years ago, that had like my old style when I was just like finding my style. And I rearranged that photo, I reset it, and I edited it to how my style is now. And to be honest, that photo is so amazing and so beautiful. And even if you're feeling discouraged, guys, there's a lot of photography books out there. Like you have Campbell Addy, you have Tyler Mitchell. Those books encourage you, they inspire you. You just skipping through the pages, it gives you inspiration to go out there and shoot. Go on Pinterest, type in fashion photography, fashion shoots, watch YouTube video, watch like go back to America's Next Top Models. Like, those stuff like that inspires you to like make you want to go out there and like shoot.
That's really inspiring to hear. Thank you.
No problem, you're welcome.
The last bit on the inspiration part, I know that the Rock Library at Brown does have a copy of Black Vanguard, which is a great photo book with some of the photographers you just mentioned. So you are allowed to check out that book because it is very expensive to buy on your own. Use Brown money instead. But yeah, if anyone else has any questions, this would be a great time to raise your hand. But if not, then I just want to join everyone in thanking Kamyiis for speaking today. We really appreciate having you take the time to come here from New York and share all this beautiful advice and your story with us. So thank you a lot.
Thank you, guys.